was a time when the average Briton or American belonged to a startlingly large number of clubs and societies. Today, that's no longer the case. I want to ask how far it's possible for a truly free nation to flourish in the absence of a vibrant civil society. And I want to cast doubt on the fashionable idea that the new social networks of the internet are in any sense a substitute for real networks. The citizen of the United States is taught from infancy to rely upon his own exertions in order to resist the evils and the difficulties of life. The associational vitality of the early United States has since significantly diminished. In his best-selling book, Bowling Alone, my Harvard colleague Robert Putnam detailed the drastic declines between around 1960 or 1970 and the late 1990s in a long list of indicators of social capital. Attendance at a public meeting on town or school affairs, down 35%. Service as an officer of a club or organisation, down 42%. Service on a committee for a local organisation, down 39%. Membership of parent-teachers associations, down 61%. The average membership rate for 32 national chapter-based associations, down by almost 50%. And membership rates for men's bowling leagues, down 73%. If the decline of American civil society is so far advanced, what hope is there for Europeans? The final publications of the recently discontinued citizenship survey for England made for truly dismal reading. In 2009 to 2010, only 1 in 10 people had any involvement in decision-making about local services or in the provision of these services, for example, being a school governor or a magistrate. Only a quarter of people participated in any kind of formal volunteering at least once a month, of which most either organised or helped to run an event, usually a sporting event, or participated in raising money for one. The share of people informally volunteering at least once a month, for example, to help elderly neighbours, fell to 29%, down from 35% the previous year. The share giving informal help at least once a year fell from 62 to 54%, and charitable giving continued its decline since 2005. What's happening? Well, for Putnam, it's primarily technology. First television, then the internet, that has been the death of traditional associational life. But I take a different view. Facebook and its ilk create social networks that are huge but weak. With 900 million active users, 9 times the number 4 years ago, Facebook's network is a vast tool enabling like-minded people to exchange like-minded opinions about, well, what they like. Maybe, as Jared Cohen and Eric Schmidt argue, the consequences of such exchanges will indeed be revolutionary, though just how far Google or Facebook really played a decisive role in the Arab Spring is, I think, debatable. After all, Libyans did rather more than just unfriend Colonel Gaddafi. But I doubt very much that online communities are a substitute for traditional forms of association. A recent study revealed that most users in fact treat Facebook as a way to maintain contact with existing friends, often ones they no longer see regularly because they no longer live nearby. The students surveyed were 2.5 times more likely to use Facebook this way than to initiate connections with strangers. It is not technology that has hollowed out civil society. It is something Tocqueville himself anticipated in what is perhaps the most powerful passage in the whole of democracy in America. Here, he vividly imagines a future society in which associational life has died. The first thing that strikes the observation is an innumerable multitude of men, all equal and alike, incessantly endeavouring to procure the petty and paltry pleasures with which they glut their lives. Each of them, living apart, is as a stranger to the fate of all the rest. His children and his private friends constitute to him the whole of mankind. As for the rest of his fellow citizens, he is close to them, but he does not see them. He touches them, but he does not feel them. He exists only in himself and for himself alone. Above this race of men stands an immense and tutelary power, which takes upon itself alone to secure their gratifications and to watch over their fate. That power is absolute, minute, regular, provident, and mild. It would be like the authority of a parent if, like that authority, its object was to prepare men for manhood, but it seeks, on the contrary, to keep them in perpetual childhood. Tocqueville was surely right. Not technology, but the state, with its seductive promise of security from the cradle to the grave, was the real enemy of civil society. For Tocqueville, it would be fatal for the government to take the place of associations. Sentiments and ideas renew themselves, he wrote. The heart is enlarged, and the human mind is developed only by the reciprocal action of men upon one another. Amen to that.